The Canadian government is currently staffed fully by a bunch of traders. Between the year 20 and 2024, the United States of America allowed approximately 10 million immigrants into the country, a record since the early 1900s, and absolute disaster across the board in that country. Canada, on a per capita basis, from 2020 to 2024, allowed 3 times as many people in as the United States. This is the same time that we have a record 2 million Canadians using food banks. Canadians on disability are only eligible to receive $870 a month unless they're in a condo. A lot of Canadians on disability cannot afford, if they need wheelchair accessibility, whatever it may be, to get into a place. And the Canadian government's response to that is, tough luck, brave the winter by yourself. It is disgusting. Our government literally provides more support to people who just arrived here than Canadians who have been here for the entirety of their life, who have ancestors who fought to defend this country. World War I, World War II, Canadian fighters were known as some of the most courageous, bravest out there fighting for our rights and freedoms. And now we have a government that prioritizes those who have just arrived over those who have been here for the entirety of our lives. There is no other way to define what is going on right now in Canada under Mark Carney and the Liberal Party, what's gone under Justin Trudeau since the year 2015, as treasonous and traitorous. They hate us. The government of Canada literally hates us. They're sponsoring an invasion of this country. They want Canadians dead. They want to replace us with foreigners. This is what you always see with Marxist regimes. They prefer foreigners because they don't push back on their wackadoo green policies, on all the corruption that goes on. Justin Trudeau's net worth somehow goes from a couple of $1 million to over $300 million in a decade. Mark Carney's making money hand over fist. Over 90% of his investments are in the United States of America. The Prime Minister of Canada, over 90% of his investments are in the United States of America. And this guy's pro-Canadian? You think, no, he's pro his investments. $63 billion have left Canada since Carney was elected. He stated that he only had investments in real estate and personal cash. Turns out that he's invested in over 570 companies. The guy wants to continue to allow 1.5 million people in. Don't let them lie to you, gaslight you, tell you that the immigration number is 395,000. That's just permanent residents that they're letting in. What they actually do is they allow nearly double that in so-called temporary residents. But good luck ever getting rid of those temporary residents. We currently have 3 million so-called temporary residents in Canada that should be leaving soon, but they're absolutely not. Our government prefers and treats people who have newly arrived to Canada better than Canadians who have family members who sacrificed and died for this country. It is disgusting. It is treasonous. We do not have patriotic Canadians. Mark Carney has not even spent the entirety of his life in Canada. He spent the entirety of his life outside of Canada. He tough talks about, Donald Trump. At least Donald Trump is a proud American who's fighting for the American people. Carney talks tough about, he's a fascist, he's a new dictator, and it makes you want to throw up. They show up in Washington, him and LeBlanc and Anand and the whole clown car, and they're laughing like little schoolgirls in front of Trump. You think we have leaders who fight for the Canadian people? Give me a goddamn break. Our entire social system right now is set up to benefit foreigners, immigrants, over Canadian citizens. It's disgusting. GDP per capita in this country, which is considered the best measure of how your average Canadian is doing, has fallen 6 quarters in a row now. 6 quarters in a row, a year and a half, a permanent GDP per capita dropping in a country with the incredible natural resources that we have. You have to be malevolent to do that. That's exactly what the Liberal Party of Canada is. They want everyday Canadians at the point where they're looking for MAID, medically assisted dying. By the way, all in that, it's not foreigners taking MAID. It's Canadians taking MAID. Now they're up to killing 10,000 Canadians a year on MAID. Only 10 days on average it takes to get approved for it. In the States, it normally takes 60. They'll kill you as fast as they can. They'll ruin our economy. They'll only offer Canadians who need help because they have degenerative diseases, whatever it may be, with not enough money to survive. Meanwhile, foreigners can show up and get $283 a day. Foreigners can show up and receive about $68,000 a year, whereas many Canadians only receive 12 to 14 grand. It makes you want to throw up, and they bring these people in because they vote for the Liberal Party. Well, hell, if the Liberal Party will bring me in, they'll give me 60 grand a year. They'll make it easy to come into this country. Oh yeah, I'll always vote for them. The 8 million people that they've allowed, and 90% vote Liberal. This country's transforming into not even being Canada anymore. They bring in, it's not even a democracy anymore because they bring in 8 million people. They bring in 26.4% of our population right now. 26.4% is a first generation Canadian. If 90% of those people are voting Liberal, our democracy is gone. Over 50% of Canadians are first or second generation Canadians. They have totally destroyed the fabric of our society. They say if you're a proud Canadian, proud of the fact that you have ancestors who built weaponry during the war, fought for this country, in many cases paid the ultimate price for this country. It's disgusting what's going on in this country. And then they're importing a ton of radical jihadis, people from countries where they treat their women like cattle. They literally treat their women like cattle. What veils all over on the streets. You get sentenced to pretty much thrown off a building if you're gay. Long prison sentence if you so-called blaspheme against the law. All of these anti-Western beliefs that are simply not compatible with Western civilization, they are importing hundreds of thousands of these people into the country. And if you say anything about it, if you point out how objectively insane it is and how the country is transformed radically in the past 10 years, they call you a racist and an Islamophobe. They name call you because they know they can't debate you on the merits, so they just start calling you names. It's pathetic, it's embarrassing, and it's not going to work anymore. Canadians have had enough of this garbage. Our ancestors did not fight and die in world wars to get sold out by creepy globalists like Mark Carney, who are just concerned with packing their own pocketbook, getting himself as rich as humanly possible. You think this guy gives a damn about middle and lower class Canadians? No. Bill C8, Bill C9, now he's going after a free expression. I got axed off of TikTok with nearly 30,000 followers because the Canadian government doesn't like the fact that I criticize them. We don't live in a free society anymore when you're not allowed to criticize the government. We do not live in a free society. Canadians are not allowed to speak their mind because the government will call it hate speech. I've seen a hell of a lot of hate speech on our streets over the past 2.5 years. There's red carpet rollout from our government screaming from the river to the sea, Intifada in our lifetime, down with the West. And our government gives these fuckers the red carpet rollout. But if you're a Canadian who criticizes their policies, you get ripped off of social media. It's pathetic, it's disgusting, and our ancestors did not fight for creeps like Mark Carney to come out and tell me as a Canadian what I am and I'm not allowed to say. Fucking weirdo. Carney and his creepy Marxist buddies. I now have a Discord server up. It's the first link under the video. Please join. I have to get people going. Let's start talking online, organizing, mobilizing. New political party that's actually going to stand up for the Canadian people, Canada First Party. Join the Discord. Please like, subscribe, join, become a member if you'd like to support my work. The Discord also as well. There's going to be just for members a Discord server. So if you join and become a member of Fight for Canada, you'll get into that exclusive Discord. There's also some merch. Really appreciate anybody who supports the cause. Really appreciate anybody who supports the cause. We got a lot of crazy people in Ottawa. We need to band together and fight this nonsense once and for all. We're sick of these creeps ruining this beautiful country.